Thank you. So, we are going to discuss this verse, Shikshashtakam. This is verse number 5. And something is going on. Yeah, thank you. So, we are going to discuss Shikshashtakam, verse number 5. And if anybody knows about Shikshashtakam, devotees know about Shikshashtakam, the Ashtakam means 8 and Shiksha means instructions. So Shikshashtakam means instructions in 8 verses. Lord Chaitanya, he gave us 8 verses and he compressed all philosophy in just 8 verses. If you want to know what is our philosophy, what is philosophy of Krishna consciousness, you don't need to do research. You don't need to read 1 crore verses of Rig Veda or 18,000 verses of probably Srimad Bhagavatam, 25,000 verses of Padma Puran. You don't need all that. You can read that, that's interesting. But before that, we need 8 verses of Shikshashtakam. And Shikshashtakam is all about chanting holy names. That is the instruction of Lord. What will matter to us ultimately in devotional life, what will help us to advance is holy names of Lord. That's the backbone of our movement, Prabhupada said. So this verse I chose because this verse is helping us to understand how to pray to Krishna while we are chanting the holy names. How to glorify Him and also how to approach Him. Now, Krishna consciousness is all about love and meeting Krishna. No? There's a person, Krishna, special person to all of us, to devotees. And when we meet Him in form of deities or in spiritual world, if we are lucky, or in His holy names, then we should know how should we meet Him. What should be our mood? What should be our thoughts? What should be our intentions? All these things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is discussing in this verse number 5. Okay, so I'm going to discuss every word of this verse. So what's the verse? This verse is Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam vadau. So I have to say next slide or what? Should I say or like? So Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam vadau 𝗙𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗹 pankajah sitaduli sadrisham vichintaya. In simple words, this means Lord Chaitanya is praying to Krishna, Krishna, please lift me up. No. You should go back. Yeah, how should we navigate this?
When you say next slide.
Yeah. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, please lift me up from this ocean of birth and death and place me at a lotus feet. This is the general translation of this verse, simple translation. Please lift me up from the sufferings of material ocean of birth and death and accept me as your servant. That's what we pray to Krishna, no? When we go to Krishna. Accept me as your servant. So I'm going to discuss this verse in details. Okay, next slide. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the first word is I. And I means, I is an exclamation of emotions. Yeah, just like in English, you say, oh. Maybe a pain, we say, oh. Or maybe South Indians, they say, or South Indians say, ayyo. No. South Indians, if you say, if they have pain, they say, ayyo. Or in North India, they say, uima, something. So this is an exclamation of emotions. When you have pain, then in Sanskrit you say I. When you have pain, in body, in mind, or in heart, whatever. So Mahaprabhu is speaking this word I. This word also appears in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Madhven Puri, he speaks this verse, which was revealed to us through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. He said this verse, Ai Mathura Natha Kada Avalokasya. So this word is used in devotion when you have to express your feelings to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying a devotee should have feelings for Lord. No? What's the meaning of devotion without feelings? There's no meaning. I think once Srila Prabhupada was in New York or somewhere in America, and one Mataji, she was offering some plate to Krishna, bhoga. And then actually Prabhupada was giving lecture. He saw that Mataji was taking plate, prasadam of offering, food for offering. And then he told in the mic, who is offering? And then told this Mataji, so Prabhupada told, where is bhava? He told, where are feelings? So without feelings, devotion becomes mechanical. If you don't have feelings, then at least you should have feelings that I don't have feelings. That you can have. So that's what Mahaprabhu is starting his prayers with. Prayers are automatically included with feelings. What type of feelings? The feelings of separation. That's what Mahaprabhu says. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture that ultimate aim of life is to feel separation from God. That's the aim of our life. And in Prabhupada's small book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada writes, Krishna Consciousness is service in mood of separation. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada writes, our aim is not love. Our aim is love in separation. But then he adds in one of his lecture that separation, we cannot have separation without attachment. What's the meaning of separation if you're not attached to somebody? You can't say, I feel separation from Krishna but I'm not attached. Makes no sense. And there can be no attachment without service. What is the meaning of attachment without service? I'm attached to you but I'll not do anything for you. There's no meaning of that. So the point is, if you want to pray to Krishna, those prayers, these kind of prayers with feelings, they will come spontaneously when you become attached to Him. And how to become attached? When you serve Him. But then you might ask us question, well, I don't feel separation, I'm not attached, I have to serve Krishna, so why you are telling all these things? Is it? Why you are telling? Separation, feelings, they are high topics, no? I don't feel anything in my heart. In my heart now I am confused, I see nonsense. So why you are telling me all these things? We are telling all these things because this is our goal. You should know your goal. If you don't know your goal, how will you travel? We can keep on doing something, but we should know where we are going. Otherwise we are shooting arrows in darkness. So when a devotee serves Lord, he knows this is the aim, to feel separation from Krishna. But we are not feeling now. So we serve Krishna with the hope that one day we will reach this platform. We pray to Krishna. Krishna, Lord Chaitanya has taught us to pray to you with feelings and separation. I don't feel anything. I don't feel separation. I'm not even attached to you. Please help me to approach that platform. We worship this platform. So that with a hope that we will also attain these kind of feelings for God. And once we attain these kind of feelings, at that point devotion starts. Real devotion starts at this Shikshashtakam verse number 5. Real devotion. Before that, what we are doing? We are doing false devotion? No. We are doing practice devotion. It's not, in reality, this is not devotion. From this point, Krishna becomes happy with us. Before that, now we are practicing. He is helping us with mercy. But after this, Krishna, there's no question of mercy then this question of love. Love and mercy are very different things, no? Is it? You don't say to your wife or to your girlfriend that I have mercy upon you. You don't say that. So, come on, you're mad or what? You say I love you. So there are two different things. From verse number 5, love begins. So, okay, so please aim for feelings and separation. Don't forget the goal. Otherwise, you know what? Why this is important? Because in devotional life, we are too busy in doing things, this, that. We are very busy. But then you should know why you are busy. We have to approach this platform. Otherwise, Prabhupada said in one of his lecture, if you don't have feelings for Krishna, you will fall down. Somewhere feelings is going to go. Somewhere. So we should pray to Krishna always. Don't pray that you are on this platform. Pray, Krishna, please lift me to this platform, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desires from us. Okay. So what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pray with feelings? Okay, you approach Krishna, you have to pray with him with feelings. What should you pray? That's a question. Now you might have feelings, you don't have feelings, no problem. But you have to pray something, no? Is it? With feelings you can pray, Krishna, you're nice. If you don't have feelings, you can pray, Krishna, I don't have feelings, but nevertheless, you're nice. You can still say that. It doesn't harm. So what you should pray? That's the next slide. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nanda Tanuja. Now Nanda Tanuja means son, and Nanda means his father, Nand. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressing Krishna as the son of Nand Baba. So before praying to Krishna, you should know how to glorify him. Is it? If you approach to somebody, if you have a meeting with somebody, I'm going to ask something to him. You have something to ask. Before asking, you glorify him, is it? It's like that, no? If you go to your boss and you want to leave, and so you go to your boss and say, yeah, boss, you're nice, you did this, you little bit glorify him and then say, okay, I have a request. Because if he's not in a good mood, he can reject your proposal. So it's always like that. So that's what Mahaprabhu is teaching us, how to approach Krishna. When you approach Krishna, then first is glorification. Glorify him. How do you glorify him? You have to learn that. So what do? Mahaprabhu is not saying Krishna here. He's not saying Ai Krishna. He is saying Ai Nanda Tanuja. That's very important. Why? Because Prabhupada writes here in this Srimad Bhagavatam class, December 9, 1974, Bombay. Prabhupada writes, he means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is offering prayers. My dear Lord, the son of Nand Maharaj, Krishna accepted the sonhood of Mother Yashoda and Nand Baba, Nand Maharaj. So he is very much pleased if anyone addresses Krishna as a son of Vasudev or Vasudev. Vasudev means son of Vasudev. And if someone addresses him Yashodanandan, Brajaranjananjana, he is very happy. Because when you address Krishna in relationship with pure devotees, he is very nice, he is very happy. See? So he doesn't say Krishna. If you say Krishna, Krishna might not be that happy. But when you say Krishna, Nanda Tanuja, you're son of Nanda, you're son of Yashomati Nandan, then he becomes very happy. The aim of glorification is to please the other person, no? Otherwise, why do you want to glorify the other person? You're glorifying some person and he's not pleased, what's the point? So just like previously you had kings, and kings used to call the singers, and singers used to sit and glorify the king, And those singers, they used to prepare nice poetry about king, and the best poetry is to get award. So that's the same thing. Krishna is a king. That's the first verse of Bhagavatam. Janmadhyasya annevadatyaratascha abhigya swarat. Swarat means king, Prabhupada writes. He's a king of all universes. So when we go to this king, we should be prepared how to glorify him. And this is how we glorify him. Nanda Tanuja. He becomes happy. Why does he become happy? More happy when we say Nanda Tanuja and not just Krishna? Why does he become happy? Prabhupada says here, because when you address Krishna in relationship with pure devotees, then he becomes more happy. That is why in our mantra, it's not just Krishna, it is Hare Krishna. We just don't say Krishna, we say Hare Krishna, because when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna remembers Radha. He becomes very happy. And when we say Hare Krishna, Radha becomes happy because Radha remembers Krishna. So it's both. We just don't say Krishna. It's Hare Krishna. So here Mahaprabhu is helping us to understand what do you mean by glorification. Glorification, you have to glorify Krishna in such a way so that he remembers his relationship with pure devotees. When he remembers his relationship with pure devotees, he remembers the love which they have given him. And when he remembers love, he becomes happy. It's same with us, all of us. Is it? We have these albums, no? We go to Disney World or we have photographs. Sometimes we see photographs, we become very happy. Oh, we went there and, with our sons. So we also want to remember our own pastimes, so-called pastimes. So Krishna also wants to remember his pastimes. That's how you glorify. So when you glorify Krishna, there are two things you should remember. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us, no? He's a teacher. He's a student and a teacher. So he's teaching us that, yes, you have to glorify. The first thing is, make sure by glorification, Krishna becomes very happy, Prabhupada says. Not just happy, very happy. So glorification should be the best. And for that, the second thing you should remember is, when you glorify, always glorify Krishna in connection with his devotees. Always remember that. Otherwise, Krishna is not going to become very happy. Okay, so next slide. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 1, 1st canto, 6th chapter, 33rd verse, purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, "It is natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is natural instinct. And the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to this psychology." This beautiful line. Because psychological characteristics visible in individual souls are but reflection of the same psychology in the absolute truth. So this is beautiful. This is in 1st canto, right? In 1st canto. This is the only quotation which I found in Prabhupada books. In one of his lecture, in 2 of his lecture, he also speaks the same point. But you'll not find it. That is why it is very important to read Prabhupada books very carefully. Because Prabhupada gives some realization, which is, this statement is the most important statement. Otherwise, you'll not be able to chant properly. It's impossible to chant properly if we don't know this statement. And I'll just tell you why. But the point is that there's just this, in one of his lecture, Prabhupada mentions finish. He doesn't mention third time. So you have to read very carefully, because Prabhupada is saying many, many things in his books. And if you don't read his books, you miss the point. And then Prabhupada is not responsible if we don't go back to Godhead. Prabhupada said in one of his letter to, I think, Kirtanan Maharaj, he's writing, that if you say Prabhupada, Prabhupada, it might not help you if you don't follow my instructions. So then Prabhupada gives him the example. Prabhupada says, suppose if I tell you that you have to do shaving with care, otherwise you'll cut your face. But if you don't do shaving with care, you will have a cut. And then you can't say that Prabhupada had a mercy on me, but nevertheless I cut my face. Prabhupada said that you have to follow my orders. Prabhupada said you have to read my books carefully. This is a beautiful thing. You see, we like to be glorified, no? We all like to be glorified. If I glorify you, you'll become so happy. Is it? Everybody. If you just imagine somebody glorifying you, you become happy. Just by imagining. So, the point Prabhupada is raising, from where this psychology is coming. Why do we feel like that? Because Krishna feels like that. Whatever is there in us, there is in Krishna. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, if you want to understand God, you can understand God by understanding yourself. By understanding ourselves, we can understand God. By understanding a drop of water, you can understand the ocean. And by understanding Krishna, you can understand yourself. If you understand ocean, you can understand every drop of ocean. It's both ways. So we have tendency to be glorified. Okay, yeah, Krishna has the same thing. We want to enjoy. So Krishna also wants to enjoy. It's the same. We are the reflections of God. Yeah. It's same qualities, but at different capacity. Yes.
I have one question. We say that when a person is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and in this case includes if someone is glorifying him or her, and if he is not disturbed by that, then he is actually eligible for liberation.
Yeah, so
but
we
if
don't
he is
say,
getting puffed up by someone.
Yeah, so we don't say we have to be glorified. I am not saying that. That's not the proposal. The point is...
No, the thing is, if someone is glorifying us, and then if I am becoming... if I am becoming reactive to it in a sense that I am becoming happy, then that excludes me from the attainment of liberation.
Yeah. So
right?
That's okay.
But if someone is already in the liberated platform, then he is not...
he doesn't become happy or something.
Yeah. But then why does Krishna, he's beyond liberation, why does he becomes happy?
He becomes happy.
Yeah.
This is the question. The question is, let me repeat the question, that Krishna wants to be glorified, and the same thing is in us. We want to be glorified. Same thing. Now when anybody glorifies Krishna, Krishna becomes happy. And that is the same thing with us. Anybody glorifies us, we become happy. The same nature. But the point is, now his question is, but if we become happy when we are glorified, we become bonded. But if Krishna becomes happy, he doesn't become bonded. What's the point here? That's the point, no? That's the question. Why this difference? Well, the point is, if Krishna becomes happy when he's glorified, it will benefit us. If we become happy when we are glorified, it will benefit none. Rather than it will harm us, and it will harm the other person also. So that is the point. By constitutional we are same, but by disposition, by function we are different. Constitution we are same. An ocean is same as a drop of water, but the function is very different. An ocean cannot quench thirst, but a drop of water can, because that's salty, but drop of water can. You cannot drink ocean, you can drink drop of water. So that's the point. By function we are all different. We have to act in different capacity, although we are same in nature. And that is the difference between God and us. Krishna creates, we also like to create, is it? That's the same thing, no? But Krishna says, you don't create. You like to create, but you should not create, otherwise you land in problems. Let me create. If you want to create, do one thing. Now we can't get rid of this creating tendency, because there is in us. So do one thing. If you want to create service for me. If you want to become glorified, that tendency is there in us to become glorified, no? We can't avoid that. So Krishna says, okay, if you have this tendency to be glorified, then what should you do? You should do something, otherwise somebody glorify. We seek glorification.
Offer it to your higher parampara.
Yeah, so if there's a tendency to become glorified, no problem. You can say, okay, fine. Somebody glorifies you, then you should think they are not glorifying you. Actually, they are glorifying parampara, Krishna. Because they are not glorifying you, they are glorifying the quality in you. Is it? Otherwise, who are you? Like just 6 years back, nobody was glorifying. After 6 years, we become devotee and we do service. People glorify. So, what they're glorifying? They're not glorifying A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because if we fall down, nobody's going to glorify you. Same person. Because that service attitude is gone. They're glorifying the service attitude in you. Who gave the service attitude? That's a gift from Krishna. So they're glorifying Krishna. Krishna is the architect. So when you praise the painting, you praise the painter. So he has molded us. He's a potter. So when you praise the potter is pleased. So that's how we have to serve him like that. Anyway, that's okay. But this is very important. So if you want to understand God, Aham Brahmasmi. That's the idea, no? That is what Upanishad says. Aham Brahmasmi. Jnanis are interested to know themselves. Upanishads inspire us. Know yourself. Know thyself. Know again and again. Why? Because they know if we understand ourselves, we can understand God. Simple. But devotional process is know God. And if you know God, you know yourself. Simple, no? That's the only difference. Devotees want to know the ocean, jnanis want to know the drop. But both paths will ultimately meet on the same point. That's why Krishna says, Sankhya Yoga Pritakvala Parvadanti na Pandita. If jnani follows the process truly, he will reach devotion. If you follow devotion, anyway you are there. So this is very nice. So please remember this. And what this helps us to understand, this helps us to understand that when you chant, why you are chanting. Chanting is the best glorification, no? It's the best glorification. When you are chanting, that's what I was told, this Shikshashtakam is all about chanting holy names. So Mahaprabhu is giving a secret here by this word Nanda Tanuja. He's giving a secret. When you are chanting Hare Krishna, you should know that actually you are glorifying Him. By your chanting, Krishna is hearing your chanting. It's not just you are hearing. That's not the point.
I never thought this way. Like now, at least when I'm chanting, I say, because it's pleasing Krishna, then I'll at least try to focus to improve.
You're right. That is very important, because generally devotees chant in here. Okay, fine. No, that's perfect. Prabhupada told chant in here. That's a perfect statement. But at the same time, you should know you are hearing, and also somebody else is hearing. Who is hearing? Krishna is hearing inside you. You have to remember that. And He is becoming happy. It's not you more important than Krishna. Otherwise, that will be a very neophyte position. So, when you're chanting, holy name is going through your ears, you are listening, and there's another person sitting beside you. Krishna, He's also listening. Whose happiness is more important? Your or His? His. And that will help you to chant with more focus. Because now, when you are chanting, you are not making holy name here to yourself. You are making here holy name to Krishna. And then, at that point, if you glorify Krishna, Krishna will glorify you. It's tit for tat, that's all. If you don't glorify Him, Krishna says, okay, you do whatever you want. Prabhupada wanted to glorify Krishna. Krishna took a vow, I will glorify Prabhupada all over the world. Although Prabhupada was not that impressive, at least externally, as his god brothers. Keshav Anand Maharaj, he was like, almost like Bhakti Siddhanta, tall, smart, very knowledgeable. Prabhupada god brothers, many of the god brothers were very scholarly. Prabhupada, at least he didn't consider himself as that par excellence with his god brothers. But nevertheless, Prabhupada chose him. Krishna chose him, Prabhupada. And he glorified him, because Prabhupada understood that if you glorify Krishna, Krishna will glorify you. He was not interested in glorification, but he did. Every second he was preaching. Preaching means glorification. And Krishna told, okay, yes, I'll do that. So that's Ainanda Tanuja. This word, it holds a secret. Okay, so next slide. So next slide is, Mahaprabhu says, okay, fine. So when you glorify Krishna, Krishna will tell you, okay, what do you want? No, that's the point. If you glorify somebody, the next question is, what do you want? Come to the point. I understand your glorification, but come to the point. So, the point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't mention the point now. You see, when you glorify somebody, and when he says, come to the point, what do you want? You just don't ask somebody immediately. You first tell your position. Is it? भैया आप बहुत अच्छे हैं, दिस इज आप बहुत अच्छे हैं, ये वो, अभी क्या चाहिए, भैया मेरा तो ऐसे हालत है, ये है वो है, फिर then you say something, give me something. So now you have to tell your own where you are, you are in a problem. Now Mahaprabhu is telling his problem. That's how you approach Krishna. First you glorify Him, then you tell your problem, and then you put your petition. I want this. And Prabhupada says, in one of his lecture, Prabhupada is saying this is the system of prayers and approaching Krishna which Mahaprabhu is teaching us. So there are many secrets in Shikshashtakam. So Mahaprabhu is saying, okay, what is my problem? He says, Bhaiya, main to mar gaya, ye ho gaya. So, kinkaram. So he says, I am kinkar. Kinkar means, you understand this word kinkar? Oh, kankad. Kinkar means, kinkar word is coming from Sanskrit. It is kim plus kar. Kim means what? Kar means do. What should I do? So that is kinkar. So that's what servant asks Krishna. What should I do for you? That's the only question we have for Krishna, no? Or devotees, to his devotees. So that's kinkar. So kinkar means servant. This is one of the words used in Sri Sampradaya for servants, kinkaram. Or maybe this Hanuman, what he was. All these Vanaras, they were like, so they were like Kim Purushas. So that's almost the same word, Kinkar, Kim Purusha, Kimkar. So that means servant. So Mahaprabhu says, okay, now first he's informing his own position. Now he's saying, my Lord, I'm Kinkar, I'm your servant. Before asking, he's telling, I'm a servant. But the point is, I'm your servant constitutionally but not dispositionally. Now, मतलब वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि अपना दुखड़ा रो रहे हैं. That's the idea, no? Before asking somebody, so what do you say in English, दुखड़ा रो रहे हैं? Is there any matter?
Asking for a plea.
Yeah. I mean to say, before asking anything, first you weep your own sorrows, in front of everybody. I am this happened to me, this happened to me. I'm in messed up position. So Mahaprabhu is saying his messed up position in humbleness. But this, for him, what is humbleness? It is reality for us. So he's saying, my Lord, I am your servant, but I am your servant constitutionally. I am your servant eternally. I am your part and parcel, but I don't act on that platform. That's the problem with me. I'm in a messed up position. That's what he's trying to say now. So constitutionally, dispositionally. So if somebody asks you, are you a servant of God? You can say yes and you can say no. Both answers are correct. Yes, constitutionally we are, but functionally we are not. Both answers are correct. But if you want to be humble, then the answer is no. But at the same time, you can also say yes. So he says, Kinkar, okay. So next slide. And what's the word after that? Patitam. So patitam means, can you just press next slide? Yeah. Just press once, yeah. So Mahaprabhu says, I am your servant. I am not acting as your servant. So Krishna says, okay, fine. Okay, so I can understand. If you're not acting as my servant, you must be really miserable. I understand that. So now tell me, what do you want? Mahaprabhu says, no, let me just tell my messed up position. I'm really messed up, So I'm not only acting as your servant, but I'm also fallen. Patitam means? Actually, patitam in Sanskrit doesn't mean fallen, actually. Patitam means to rise high. Actually, if you read this word, that this word is coming from birds. Birds flap their wings, pat, 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 like that, and they fly. So it is said in Sanskrit, birds fall in sky. They fall in sky. It's said like that. So that's why this word fallen is coming from patitam. That's why fall in love, yeah. Yeah, fall in love, yeah. That's the word also, they fall in love. Both lover and beloved, they're in sky, They're in their own world. They're in their own world, they're in clouds. That's the point, patitam. Well, anyway, we have fallen into... So we have fallen. Mahaprabhu says, I am fallen. So Krishna asks, okay, where you have fallen? Okay, fine. Lovers, they fall in clouds. Birds fall in sky. Where you have fallen? So what's your answer? Where we have fallen? Yeah. So next slide. Just press once. So we have fallen due to our own foolishness and envy. That's another point Mahaprabhu is making. Yes, Krishna, I am fallen. Whom to blame? I am fallen into this world. So Krishna can ask you, are you blaming me? Well, you are in a messed up position. Are you blaming me or what? So Mahaprabhu says, no, I am fallen due to my own foolishness, my own envy. We have to understand that. Otherwise, we have a disease to blame others. We have a big disease. And you can't get rid of it. It's very difficult. Because nobody wants to blame himself. Because if you go on a street and if you ask anybody, you can do census, are you good man or bad person? What he will say? He'll say, yeah, I'm good, Who will say I'm bad? Nobody is going to say. So that's the point. The point is, if anybody is stopping us to approach Krishna, it is not illusion. It is not Maya. It is we ourselves. We are stopping ourselves. There's nobody stopping us. Maya can affect only those who don't want Krishna. Who want Krishna, Maya cannot affect. It's not possible. So we are praying to Krishna, and there's somebody between Krishna and us. And who is that? We. Between Krishna and us, we are standing. But we cannot see ourselves. That's a problem. And that is illusion. That is illusion. By illusion, you can't see yourself. Between me and Krishna, it's me. So, come on, it's me, so no problems. But that's a problem. That is the problem. And that is illusion is very tricky. That's illusion. You can't defeat illusion, it's impossible. It's impossible. Illusion has a lot of experience now. She's experienced. It's an infinite experience. So you can be 60 years, 70 years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 100 years in devotion, but nevertheless nobody is safe in this material world. We should not think ourselves safe. Prabhupada says in that incident of Rishabdev, Prabhupada says one line, it's an excellent line. Prabhupada says, nobody should consider themselves safe, even if he is liberated. Prabhupada says, until unless you are in this word, the word of Maya, even if you are liberated, you should not think yourself safe. And Prabhupada in one of his lectures, he says, I was like shocked. Prabhupada said, this might seem offensive, but Prabhupada said that. Prabhupada said, Rupa Goswami, he escaped from this material world. To Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada says, Rupa Goswami escaped. Somehow or the other he escaped. So, of course, we can't make this statement. But Prabhupada is trying to explain us that although you are at such an exalted platform, this word of illusion is dangerous. If it is dangerous for them, what about us? And that's the illusion. We don't think it is dangerous. That is the illusion. We don't consider it as real dangerous place. That's why we are not taking devotion so seriously. Is it? We like to sleep. Why do you like to sleep? You should not like to sleep. It's a complete waste of time, Prabhupada is saying. If it's a dangerous place, why do you like to sleep? That's the point. You have to sleep, that's another thing. But you should not like to sleep. That's another proposal. It's a very stupid waste of time. So that's why Prabhupada said, if you're advancing spiritually, your sleep, hunger, everything reduces automatically. Automatically it reduces. It's not artificial, but it reduces. That's a symptom of, because why it reduces, why your needs reduce? Because you get a sense this is a dangerous place. This is on fire, samsara davanal. And when you are on fire, there's just one thought, run. You don't think of eating, sleeping. You don't think those things. So that's the point Mahaprabhu is making. I am fallen due to my own foolishness and envy. I envy you. So don't blame others. That's the point. This blaming thing, forget it. Don't say, I am in problem because of him. Because of him. There's nothing like that. This is illusion. Nobody's problem because of anybody else. It might seem that that person is creating problem, but it's not like that. You are facing problems because of your own actions. Your own actions. You deserve that. That's why it's coming to you. Through that person, that's another thing. He's becoming an instrumental thing. If by your plans you remove that person, same problem is going to come through another person. So that's going to come, it's not going to leave you. And that's what demons think, Aham karta, aham bhogi karta, aham iti manyate. Krishna says, then they plan, if somebody comes in my plan, I will remove it. So they are demons because they don't understand. They can remove people, but they cannot remove problems. It'll come in some other form. Something it'll come, it'll catch you. So don't blame illusion, don't blame Maya. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, Maya is maid servant of Krishna. Prabhupada says she doesn't like to torture people, no? Is it? She's servant of Krishna. But she tortures those who avoid Krishna. Then she tortures. Because she cannot see anybody not loving Krishna. Is it? And this happens in this world, no? If you see this happens, if you love some girl, some friend, she will make sure that you don't love anybody else. Is it? Like that. If you fall in love with some girl, or your wife or somebody, you marry, your wife or your girlfriend, she will make sure you don't love anybody. And you will start loving somebody else, she'll be after you. She'll be mad after you. Sometimes it happens that you might tell to your girlfriend, see, I don't love you, I'm into some other affair, I don't want. And if she's really in love with you, what she'll do? She'll kill you, that's all. She'll shoot you. If you can't love me, I'll not love you. I'll not let you love anybody else. You're mine. She'll kill you, that's all. That's what Maya is doing. If you don't love Krishna, I'll not let you love anybody else. Yeah, bas. So, that's what Maya is doing. That's why we die. That's why we die. We die because Maya cannot tolerate that. If you don't love my Lord, I'll not let you love anybody else. So, you're loving these people? Okay, you have to die. I'll kill you. And then you die again, then die again, then die again, then die again, unless you don't love Krishna. That's why we die. That's a death all about. Yes, Mataji? Mike. There is, yeah, she got it.
I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit backtracking, Prabhuji, but much related, because you told that if we don't love Krishna, then Maya will not let us love anybody else. But in this material world, at least where we live, the conception of love is union. Because the conception of love is union, right?
Union?
Union means you be with the person. It's not like anybody loves because they want to be eternally separated.
Of course.
So, and if I want to love someone and the crying is what I'm going to get till the end of my life, why would I do that? But initially when you said that there cannot be separation if there is no attachment, right?
So,
but that is true. But we don't perceive that in this material world. We perceive separation as something very painful and a complete failure in love.
That's what, no? That is what spiritual word, this word is perverted reflection of spiritual word. What is misery here, that is bliss there. So the separation is misery here, it is bliss in material world. Spiritual world. So mode of ignorance is misery, no? Here, in spiritual world, mode of ignorance is bliss. If you think about that, what is mode of ignorance? Mode of ignorance is madness, pramad, 𝗙𝗃, nidra, madness. What Vrajvasis are? They're mad in separation of Krishna. So that separation is spiritual mode of ignorance. They're mad, they're separated, they're lamenting. That's mode of ignorance, no? They can't do anything. So that is the highest situation in spiritual world. So that is why this is called perverted reflection. You understand? So that's the point there. That's a question?
Yeah, I could understand that, but when our acharyas are here and like when we progressively go towards that separation thing, what should motivate us? Means?
Well, you can't think logically. And then when we feel separation, the spirituality means knowledge and cognition comes together. That's what Prabhupada writes. That's what acharyas write. You get the realization and you also get the confirmation of that realization with realization. So you get separation and you also get the knowledge to perceive that separation in the right way. Now we are perceiving separation in the wrong way. Is it? And that's a problem. We feel lamenting, okay, somebody's lost. But in spiritual world, we feel separation in the right way. And that's how we feel bliss there. So that's going to get revealed. It's not logical. It's not logical. You can understand by logic, beyond logic. That's okay. Oh, so you know what, this happened with Prabhupada, no? Prabhupada was like this. So reporter asked Prabhupada, why are you always sad? Prabhupada said, this is ecstasy. Prabhupada is like that. So we can understand that. Yeah, that way.
Our disciple couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And he's saying,
yeah, so
we
there was
should talk about
controversy
Brahman.
there. Yeah. Ramchandra, who was that? I forgot his name. Yeah, so his name was Ramchandra Puri. So you got my point? You understood? Huh? What, Prabhupada's first time? Oh, that, just forget it. I don't want to. No, just take care. Yeah.
I have a question. This is going back to your example where you said if a girlfriend is in love with a man and the man goes with another woman, if she truly loves him, she'll go ahead and kill him and be really
Sometimes it happens,
ready.
yeah.
But I thought true love and detachment means letting the person go.
So that's...
That is detachment.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
not,
So that is how we understand that there is no true love. That it seems like true love, but it's not true. It is lust.
yes.
That's what we understand here.
Yeah.
But the same thing is in spiritual world. But what Maya is not doing for herself, she is doing for Krishna. That's her service. That's in spiritual world. The same thing. Here it is selfishness, there it is service.
Oh, that's
You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay, fine. Patitam, due to my own foolishness, and we got this point. Okay, next slide. Can you just press? Then what's the next word? Vishame. Okay, so now Krishna says, do you want something? Mahaprabhu says, no, first let me be more, I messed up, I have to explain you fully. So Mahaprabhu says, Vishame. So what's the meaning of Vishame, this word? What do you mean by Vishame? No. No, it is in, so in Hindi you say Visham Sthiti? Yeah, complex. Yeah, it's complex situation. Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm in a very complex situation. I'm not only fallen, I'm in a very complex situation. So let me explain you my complex situation. This is from Prabhupada's letter. Prabhupada explains this word in New York. This is from Gita lecture, 2nd chapter, 55th verse. Can you tell me what is that verse, 2nd 55? Okay. April 15, 1986. Prabhupada is saying, Oh my Lord, the Nanos Nand Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other I am now fallen in this ocean of misconception. Kindly pick me up and fix me as one of your atoms of the dust of the lotus feet. This is a literal translation of this verse. But then Prabhupada adds, that is the prayer. This is what I'm telling. Prabhupada says, this is the prayer. Our prayer to Krishna is, Krishna, please accept me. Please lift me from this problematic situation. The point is, the first word was feelings, no? Feelings. How do you get those feelings? You get those feelings when you always are conscious of the fact that you are in problem. That's very important. That is why Krishna says to Uddhav, Uddhav, always remember two things. Krishna and death. Remember both. Krishna says, remember me and death. Both. If you forget one thing, you will not be able to pray to Krishna. It will be very difficult. You can't pray with feelings, it's impossible. So, because if you go to Vrindavan, many people say in Vrindavan that so you don't have to discuss about this material world, problems of this material world. Like Prabhupada always discusses, no? Material world is nonsense, there are so many problems, these are cheaters, this, that. So people say, what's going on? This is like Krishna Katha or what? It doesn't seem like that. But no, it is Krishna Katha, because these problems will make you realize that, yes, not only individually, but entire globe is in problem. And we are part of globe. We may not realize problems at our own level, but at a large level there are problems. People are in problems. These problems can come to us. We are in the problems. So we are in the system. And then it will help us to get feelings and prayers for Lord. That feelings will come. That is our first canto to ninth canto. It is just problems, Problems after problems after problems. Sukadeva Goswami explains material world, and then Sukadeva Goswami explains, Maitreya is unhappy, Vidur is unhappy, Uddhav is unhappy, and then Gajendra, he is unhappy, Kunti Manani, she is unhappy, Dhruva is unhappy, everybody. Yes, he's just speaking problems after problems after problems. Then he comes to 10th canto. Yes, this is Krishna. So the point of whole first to ninth canto is to make you realize there are problems. And that is what Upanishad says. The day you realize you are in problems, the day you realize those problems cannot be solved by your own efforts, that day your feelings will come for Lord. Otherwise it can't. It can't. You can't be just in your Krishna conscious world. It's impossible.
Prabhuji, one of the lectures I heard Radha Govind Maharaj mention that this world can be...
Which Maharaj?
Radha Govind Maharaj. He explained that, you can only understand the spiritual world. It's like Prakat Jagat can only be understood first analyzing Aprakat. So Prakat and Aprakat has to be put together to get the value.
Same thing, yes. That's the logic I'm telling. But what I'm telling is why you have to understand this word. That's my point here. Why you have to understand? It's because it will promote your feelings for God. And that's what is more important, no feelings. Otherwise what you're doing. That's why first word was I.
With a sense of fire.
Yeah, sense of fire, samsara dava. So better read and develop feelings rather than suffer and develop feelings. That's not a good idea. You read in Bhagavatam, you read these are the problems and they are there, okay fine, there are problems. So Krishna, please help. If you don't read, then you have to go through all those experiences and then you will have feeling. So what is intelligent person? Intelligent person learns by others' experience. Fools, they get, they suffer and then they learn. That's not a good idea. That's
maybe you can enlighten on this more. I heard that even through experience also, experience is not the cause for wisdom. Only experience is not the cause of wisdom. You have to read. You have to get 𝗙𝗪𝗪 because there's so many examples.
You're right, because only experience will not help you to cause wisdom. Because many people suffer, but they don't come to God. So people who suffer and who have knowledge to decode that suffering. Okay, what is the point of suffering? Why I'm suffering? What's the message there? Only he can come to God. So there has to be some decoding knowledge. And that decoding software is given by sadhus. So they put a software, decoding software. When we get sufferings, we do decode that sufferings, we get a message and we understand, okay, fine, So that's okay. Okay, so that is a prayer, Prabhupada says, that is a prayer. Vishame, okay. So, but no, please. I didn't say next slide. So, what Prabhupada says here, I am now fallen in this ocean of misconception. Now, that was the point. Mahaprabhu said, I am fallen. So, Krishna asked, where have you fallen? Prabhupada doesn't say here cycle of birth, death. See? You were telling cycle of birth, death. Prabhupada didn't say in this translation. Patitam mam vishame bhavam. Mahaprabhu doesn't say cycle of birth, death. I am fallen cycle of birth, death. Mahaprabhu says, I am fallen into ocean of misconception. This is a misconception you were having. We have fallen into birth and death. No. That's not the first point. We have fallen into misconceptions. And Prabhupada again and again uses the word misconception. We have misconception. We have misconception that we are bonded. That's a misconception. We are never bonded. We are all liberated. But you think yourself bonded. And that is a Maya acts on you. That's the point Krishna says in 11th canto. Nobody is bonded and nobody is liberated. That's what Krishna says to Uddhava. There's no conception of liberation. If there's no conception of bonded, then what's the conception of liberation? Soul is always free. So, but we are in this misconception. We are this body. Prabhupada says, no, we are in misconception. We are this body. We are all this. We are in birth and death. But in the same place, if you have knowledge, if you have mercy, you are in the same place, but at the same time, you're out of it. So that's the important point. So I am into misconception. Solution for misconception is you have to right conception. That's where the role of knowledge comes. Without knowledge, without reading Prabhupada books, it is impossible to get out of this complex situation. That's why Prabhupada is genius to use this word misconception. Okay, so next slide. So all is misconception, no? Who is standing, who is stopping me from going to Krishna? Maya, misconception, you. We have fallen into birth and death. No. You have fallen into misconception that you are in birth and death. Your soul, if you understand your soul, you're out of it. Finish. Nevertheless, even though you're in this body, you're out of this. We are into misconception that my mind is getting disturbed. Wrong. What is the right conception? It's a misconception. My mind is disturbed today. This is an absolute misconception. The right conception is, you're not mind. Let your mind get disturbed. Who cares? Who cares for that? You don't care for your neighbors if they get disturbed. Mind is my neighbor.
There are 40 people on internet, so that's
In yesterday's class, you also mentioned that even mind, people who are looking for peace, actually you have to give away.
Yeah, so that's another misconception. We are coming to Krishna for peace. No, we are coming to Krishna to leave peace, to sacrifice peace. That is love. You see so many misconceptions, and that's why we don't advance. We don't advance if you have misconceptions. So, and the greatest misconception is we think we have no misconception. That's the point. Now we have understood, it's pretty much clear, birth and death, Krishna is supreme, chant Hare Krishna. No, that's the biggest misconception. The more you advance, the more you will see that things become not clear, things becomes more fuzzy. Because there's so many misconceptions in our heart. Is it? The more science is advancing, there are more questions than answers. Because you're finding so many things. So that's another misconception. Everything is clear. No, it's not clear. If you read Prabhupada books, you will find, yes, I have that doubt. Some foundational doubts we have, foundational misconceptions we have. So there's a crack in foundation. That's why people ask, Prabhu, I'm not advancing so many years. All around, I'm traveling, and many devotees, like many Prabhupada disciples are coming to, and they're saying, Prabhu, so many years we are chanting, but no taste, what's happening? No advancement. We all feel like that also, no? And the only problem is, we are not reading Prabhupada books. That's, at least according to me, that's the point, If we read Prabhupada books, there are all these points I'm talking from Prabhupada books, that's why I'm showing you quotations. The point of this slideshow is to show you that you are not reading Prabhupada books. That's one point behind that hidden agenda behind this seminar of Shikshashtakam. To inspire you, please read Prabhupada books. Okay. So that's Visham. Okay, fine. So the next word is Bhavam Budhau. So now Krishna says, well, ask me, come on, don't delay. Mahaprabhu says, no, abhi thoda aur dukhda rona hai. I have to weep more to explain you fully, my messed up situation. Otherwise, you will not grant my petition. To explain you fully my situation. So he says, Bhavam Budhau. What this word means, Bhavam Budhau? This means, Bhava means to be. Bhava in Sanskrit means to be. Bhavati. To be. To be. And Ambudhau means ocean. You are in this oceanness of beingness. Be means, you are here. This word, let this word there, let there be light. No? That is the first statement. Let there be this word. Let there be this body. Let there be identification with this body. Let there be sense enjoyment. Let there be attachments. It's all be, no? It's happening one after another, one after another, one after another. That is why this word is called the word of be. The word of beings. From be comes beings. We are all beings because we like to be something. We like to be this, we like to be that. And that's what Prabhupada says, no? So another name of this word is bhava. Bhava, what this is in Sanskrit? Yeah, bhava, that's called bhava. This word is called bhava in Sanskrit. Yeah, that's a word. So in Hindi we say bhav sagar. That's the same word, bhava. So, okay, Krishna says, Mahaprabhu says, yes, Krishna, I am fallen into misconceptions. Due to that misconceptions, I am into this word of be and beings. And can you press the next slide? So, just pray, just once. It's not going. Okay, so I am into this ocean of, can you just press, yeah. I am into this ocean of birth and death. And this ocean of birth and death is forcing me to do sins. So I am fallen into misconceptions. Due to misconceptions, I am fallen into this word of ocean of birth and death, this matter, ocean of matter, which is being. And due to that, I am forced to do sins. We are forced to do sins. You cannot avoid sins here. You will be forced. Krishna says in Gita, every action in this world has faults. Krishna says, every action will have faults. There is no action without faults. That's in Bhagavad-Gita 13th chapter, Krishna says. What's that verse? I forgot. Yeah, I just forgot that, yeah. So, and every action has sins. There will be sins. That's why Prabhupada said, whatever you do, chant Hare Krishna. Keep on chanting because there will be faults in that. You can't avoid faults. If you do deity worship, you should chant Hare Krishna with that. Otherwise, there will be faults. 100%. You can't avoid that. Nobody is perfect, no? So that's why Kirtan is to be accompanied with deity worship, with cooking, with anything. You have to accompany with holy names. That Prabhupada quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Jiva Goswami. Prabhupada quotes actually from Bhakti Sundar in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says, Yadyapi kalau anne seva vidyate. Although there are so many services in this age, tatra sanyogeva. It should be accompanied with chanting of holy names. So I fall into ocean of sin. I am forced to do sins, even if I don't want. And the next is, next. So, and not only sins, but I am fallen into an ocean of offenses. What is the difference between offenses and sins? Did you hear?
Sins can be
knowingly doing problems offense.
I heard
Sins
it
also
somewhere.
doing, yeah.
Krishna takes care of offenses seriously, and sins can be washed off. Offenses cannot be washed off.
That's okay. But I am asking what is the difference between what is sin and what is offense? I am not asking that they can be washed away. What is sin and what is offense? That's my question. What is the difference between both of them? In that point, you are right. You are not wrong. You are right. But what is the swarupa of sin? What is the definition of sin and offense?
Hurting others is offense.
Then what is sin?
Sin the other guy will not be knowing.
Okay, you can say like that. I don't know this mic is gone.
To sin, Prabhu, if you are doing like something which is not prescribed in Vedas, like grihasthas are
Okay, and what is offense?
An offense is like when you are doing a spiritual service and you are committing any fault. It's not according to the injunction, or you have done it maybe knowingly or unknowingly.
Well,
So
it's not that clear. Okay, I'll tell you what is sin, what is offense. See, this is another misconception, no? We are on the ocean of misconceptions. And we don't realize, it's a simple thing, but you never thought about it. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, sin means, in various lectures, sin, when you are hurting by mind, action and words, a non-devotee, that's a sin. When you are hurting a non-devotee through action, minds and words, that is sin. When you are hurting with minds, words and actions, a devotee, that's offense. A devotee of Krishna. Same actions when they're done for non-devotees, that is sin. Those actions which are done towards God and His devotees, that it becomes offense. So
out here, the another misconception which I think can be cleared is then who is a devotee? Because there are again 3 levels of devotees. One who says Krishna once, and you have
from our perspective, everybody is a devotee who chants Hare Krishna. That's all. That's what we were discussing yesterday. Prabhupada, I'll quote that. So one devotee was asking Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there in this world? He was asking how many pure devotees? Because he was like picking up, thinking other new people. Prabhupada said, how many people are there in ISKCON? The same number of pure devotees. So all of us are pure devotees. Because Prabhupada's definition of pure devotee is very different from definition what Vrindavan people have. Prabhupada's definition of pure devotee is pure in the sincerity of goal. Prabhupada says in Gita, if the person's goal is clear, he's pure. Sooner or later he'll reach there. His intent should be pure. Intent. His thoughts might be impure. His feelings might be impure. If his intent is pure, he's pure. So what do you mean by intent? Intent means, okay, fine. Even a new devotee who comes, even in 1 month he will understand Krishna is supreme. Demigods are out of picture. And okay, my life is for Krishna. At least his intent is clear, He might get bad thoughts, but he wants to avoid that. Out of habits, he might not be able to. That's another thing. Out of weakness of heart. So that kind of person is pure devotee, although he is not mature. That's what we were talking. He's not mature. So there are all of pure devotees. Some are mature, some are immature. That's how we have to look. So doing something bad to them, that's offense. Krishna considers as offense. But then there is a gravity of offense. If you do the same offense towards Prabhupada, it's like gone. If you are doing to some immature pure devotee, Krishna might not take that so seriously. Nevertheless, it is an offense, but there's a gravity of offenses. That's how we have to think.
Very complex. It's better to be away. Away from offenses.
Yeah, it's better to avoid offenses. Actually, according to me, it's very difficult to do offenses. Yeah. Yeah, that's another misconception. It's not easy to do offenses because offenses require a bad intention. Nobody who's coming to ISKCON, they have bad intentions. People are coming to ISKCON, they are highly intelligent people. And people who are stupid, first of all, they'll not come to ISKCON. Because there are so many regulations. They'll be out, they'll go to some other people. People who have to come to ISKCON, it is already presumed they have good intentions. Otherwise, nobody will even take the process. It's a tedious process. So everybody has good intent. But the point is, so nobody does offenses. It is just miscommunications, according to me. It is miscommunications. Nobody is bad. We should not think that it's not easy to do offenses, that's why. It's not easy to do offenses. We might think he's doing offense. No. Either they're confused or it is due to habit. It is happening. Habit is different thing, intent is different thing. So I was in Baroda, there was one person who joined and he was in Gujarat temple long years back. So he was hiding and taking that tamaku. Wo nahi hota? Yes, so he was taking that tobacco. But tobacco you should not have to say. That's a rules, no intoxication. He was hiding and taking. And then devotees, when he used to sing, that smell used to come. Singing, so devotees thought, we were thinking, what's this? Something funny, something smell of this tobacco. So devotees asked him, he said, no. But then they found it in his bag. So what happened was, some devotees were shouting at him, you nonsense, you are doing this, you break rules and you get out on this, that. But some devotees, they told, stop it now. Let's ask him why you are taking. And he started weeping. He said, Prabhu, I want to stop. But I can't because I have habit since long years. I'm trying, but out of habit somehow I take it, but I want to stop. So what do you call it? You call it this offense or not? No, it's out of weakness. That's why I tell it's difficult to do offenses. It's not easy. So that's why we should not say he's doing offense. We should pray for them. Not just keep on criticizing. It's not a good idea to do that. That's a misconception. We should pray for others. Why can't we pray for them? Krishna, they are weak, they are ignorant, please help them. Please help them, bring them on right path. And He will do that. Prayers are very beneficial now. That's how.
But on our part, I mean, it's for the others. We should not think this is doing offense. But for our part, we have to think that I have to be very careful of not doing offense, because then one more misconception could be offense to hote hi nahi.
Yeah, of course. From our part, we should think we should be careful to do offense. But from others, we should think that fine, nobody is doing offense in that sense. Yeah, you're right.
One small point I want to mention, I heard somewhere that Jiva Goswami mentioned that actually there are 3 Mahabhagavatas. One is who is Gunatit and Swarup said, one is not Swarup.
Yeah, there is, but I don't want to talk about that. Forget it. Okay, fine. Just forget it now. I'll go up beyond the topic, so we'll talk afterwards. So that's the point. Okay, so and due to offenses, we have fallen into struggle of existence. The point which Prabhupada tells is, why we are taking birth after birth after birth after birth. It's not because of sins. It is because of offenses. This is another misconception. Nobody takes birth due to sins. Because everybody in this world, at least once in his lifetime, he is introduced to spirituality. They hear names of God, at least in India, everybody hears. And if you hear names of God, all your sins are destroyed. Everybody meets saints and sadhus. There's a lot of opportunity. Sins do not keep you in this world. What keeps is offenses against devotees and God. Our enviousness towards Krishna, that keeps us here ultimately. So that is why it is said in scriptures, be careful of doing, from our part, careful of doing offenses. The point of doing not offenses is keeping your intent pure. That's the idea. If your intent is pure, you cannot do offenses. See, that's a trick. In one go, you can avoid all offenses. If your intent is not pure, no matter, even if you're doing right thing, that will be converted into offenses. Because your intent is, because so many people you see come to ISKCON, come to America for green card, and like full-time devotees, pujaris, from their whole agenda is different. To live in America. So then although they are coming here, it seems they are doing right thing, puja and all these things, but the intent is wrong. So that is offense. That you have to be careful of that. So that's the point. Okay, Bhavam Buddha. Okay, next slide. So now Krishna says, what do you want? Now Mahaprabhu says, okay, fine. I have pretty much explained my messed up position. Now, what do you want? Now I'll say, what do I want? Now it's good, no? You glorify Him. You speak, Bhaiya, main to mar gaya, meri aisi ho gaya halat. So now what do you want? Okay, now I want Kripaya. That's the word, Kripaya. Now, can you, next here. So Kripaya means mercy. Next. But the point is here, Krishna might argue with you, why should I give you mercy? That's the point. Why should I give you mercy? You're nonsense, first of all. You just told me. Now, why should I give you mercy? Then that's what, in this word Kripaya, causeless is included. So that is why it is Kripaya. It is not just Kripa, it is Kripaya. That Kripaya means that sense of causelessness is there in this word. If you say Kripa, it is just mercy. If you say Kripaya mujh pe kripa kijiye. It's like that. So this word, every word of Sanskrit has a mood in it. If you read Sanskrit, you will come to know. So there's a mood of causelessness, Kripaya. So that is, so what do you mean by causeless? What do you mean by causeless? It's quick.
We don't deserve it because of our conditioning.
Yeah.
But
so you don't deserve it, but still you want it. You don't deserve it, but you desire it. That is causeless from our perspective. That means causeless. Oh Krishna, I don't deserve, I'm messed up, but I have no qualification, I've done nothing to you, for you. I've done no service, even though whatever service I've done, it is full of faults, minimal, but still I want your mercy. Okay, this is from our perspective. And from Krishna's perspective, causeless means Okay, fine. You can ask like that. I don't deserve, but still I desire. Then Krishna can argue. So if you don't deserve, why do you desire? Why should I give you causeless mercy? That's a question. Why should I give you causeless mercy? Then what do you say? He can do anything, no? If he asks, then what? You should be ready with the answer.
I just glorified you.
And that's one thing. I just glorified you, you can always say. But then he can say, well, my mercy is, everybody is not qualified to get my mercy just by speaking one glorification. Prahlad Maharaj, he got my mercy. So that's why Krishna is arguing now, you have to answer him.
The answer is
That way you're saying? Okay, good. So that's one answer, that if you don't do mercy on me, then who will call you merciful? That's one thing, because mercy demands that you give somebody even if he doesn't deserve. That's mercy. If you give somebody what he deserves, that's not mercy. He deserves that. The inherent meaning is mercy is causelessness, true mercy. So Krishna, you can also say to Krishna, Krishna, please give me causeless mercy, because the point is, it is your nature to do mercy. From Krishna's perspective, mercy is always causeless. His nature is to do mercy. He can't avoid doing mercy, that's the point. He can't avoid. So whenever he kills somebody, it's mercy, no? That's mercy. He killed Duryodhan for their wrong acts, but after killing he thought, but nevertheless I'll do some mercy to them. Okay, take them back. So he's always thinking in that mode. And that is why from his perspective it is always causeless. Always causeless. So that's Kripaya. So he's seeking causeless mercy from God. Okay, next. But I do not deserve, still you bestow upon me. But at the same time, from our perspective, we should not take undue advantage of causelessness of Krishna. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, don't take undue advantage of merciful nature of Krishna. Prabhupada says, he is merciful, he'll do mercy, but don't take undue advantage. You should serve him. And then ask for mercy. So sometimes devotees pray to Krishna. Sometimes they pray. Some acharyas, they pray, Krishna, don't give me mercy if I don't serve you. Block it. What do you say with that? That's devotion. That's the highest devotion. Block it. Don't give me. Because if I don't serve you, I don't deserve your causeless mercy. From our perspective. There's one alvar, he says. Yeah. Yeah, so there are many things. Oh, one devotee, he also prays that Krishna, so we have fallen, sometimes we fall down from our devotional platform, then we pray to Krishna, Krishna, please pick me up. So the real prayer is, Krishna, real devotee doesn't pray, Krishna, pick me up, just. Real devotee prays, Krishna, pick me up as you like. If you don't like to pick me up, no problem. So that's the whole idea of Lord Chaitanya. That's the whole idea of Lord Chaitanya. We don't want to give any pain to Krishna. We don't want to do anything what we like. We want to do everything what Krishna likes. So if you want to pick me up from this fallen condition, do that, but in a way in which you like, not in a way in which I like. That's another point there. I don't know.
At the same time, the prayer is reminding Krishna, pick me up.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, that's of course because we don't have any other option. But the prayer is, Krishna, please pick me up from this fallen condition. Why we are praying this? Because Krishna likes that. It's not because we are important. It is because it is Krishna's mission to deliver everybody. To fulfill his mission, we are praying, Krishna, please pick me up. Patita pavan kisera lagya. That's he'll become happy. For ultimately, it's all his happiness. Yes, Mataji, what? Otherwise.
No, I think you answered, but I'll just express what I had
Okay,
in my
fine.
mind. The main thing is, even to understand, Krishna is always giving mercy, but even to understand that, how much of this knowledge that you said, that to decipher the suffering, like that, the knowledge is required to decipher the mercy also.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we
knowledge
just
is
go
required.
away.
Yeah, knowledge is required. That's why we are conducting this seminar. What is the point of this seminar?
Like,
Otherwise-
why did Krishna take away the 5 sons of Pandavas whom he loves for the best? Because sometimes the mercy that he gives is mysterious and we are unable to understand.
Yeah, we can't understand his actions, you're right. His mercy, most of the times we will not be able to understand. Most of the times, actually, not sometimes. His actions, I mean, you see Ramayana, you see Mahabharata. I mean, he brought Sita and he just abandoned Sita. Everybody was saying, you're merciful or cruel? And then Pandavas are in Vanvas. Mahaprabhu, he just married and left his wife, and Murari Gupta, he was complaining to Mahaprabhu, what? And every pastime you're messing us up, Now this pastime you don't do. Mahaprabhu said, no, I've come to tell you this only, I'm messing up this pastime again. Don't be, I'm leaving my home. So that's the point. So his mercy we can't decipher. His mercy only one person can decipher. Whom he wants that he should decipher. Only that person can decipher, otherwise it's not. So knowledge helps us to understand, go beyond that to understand the mercy. This knowledge is mercy, in other words. Is it? This is a form of mercy. That's what we say, no? Mukha prasadat. That's the prasad of the saints. The words are mercy of. That's why Prabhupada's books, there's a mercy. They're words of God. So that's that's mode of transmission of, one of the mode of transmissions of mercy.
Just a quick question, Prabhu. The last Shikshashtakam prayer, is that connected to this? Because you as per...
Those are connected, but I just took this. So, okay, next slide. So, Kripaya. So, what's after that? Kripaya. 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. So, Krishna says, okay, fine. You want me to pick me up? Where you want to pick me up and place me? So, the devotee says, at your lotus feet. At your lotus feet. Now, why does he say lotus feet? Why doesn't he say in your arms or in your embrace or something? Why only lotus feet? What is the importance of lotus feet? 𝗪𝗪 means yours, pada means lotus, pada means feet, pankaja means lotus. Why lotus feet? Because you see, lotus feet signifies service. Or Lakshmi leaves the chest and goes to serve feet, no. Feet signify service. So Mahaprabhu is praying, Krishna, pick me up and place me in your service. I want to be established in your service. That signifying lotus feet. And the next is, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sithaduli sadrisham. Pick me up at a lotus feet, place me not as dust. But what he says, Sthita dhuli sadrisham, like a dust at your lotus feet. Can you just press? Like dust, not dust. Why does he say like dust? Take me to your lotus feet, keep me as a dust, no? As an insignificant servant. But he says like dust, not just dust. Why does he say like dust? Sthita dhuli sadrisham. Sadrisham means like. Why does he say this like? Because Mahaprabhu is saying, Krishna, I am not. So who stays at lotus feet? Servants of God, no? What is our philosophy? Servants of servants of servants of servants. So he says, keep me at a lotus feet like your servant. I cannot become your servant. I cannot compete with your servants. But I can hope to become like your servant. So Mahaprabhu is also teaching humbleness. This extreme humbleness. If we are not humble, we will not be able to pray to Krishna in a proper mood. So that's a mood. We are servants of servants of servants of servants. Okay, fine. At the same time, we have to think we are like servants of servants of servants of servants. We can never become even servants of servants of servants of servants. We can't do that. It's not possible. That Mahaprabhu is praying. So that's the point. Okay, next. So that's prayer for eternal service. that I told, Sitaduli. Next. Now this is a point. Like dust, not dust. So dust means servants of God. Is it? And our aim is to become servants of servants. That means our aim is to serve the service. That's our aim. That's the prayer. That's the secret here. Serve the service of Lord. The service of service. That Prabhupada says in one of his lectures. That we are servants of service. The important point here is what we are doing here. We are not serving Krishna. We are assisting service of the servants of Krishna. That's a different understanding.
Actually, that's chapter 9.
Yeah, chapter 9 is that. Assisting the service of the servants of Krishna. Just like we are assisting the mission of Prabhupada. So that we have to understand in that proper context. We are actually, one thing is to serve somebody, one thing is to assist his service to Krishna. And that is the best thing you can do. You can serve them, but at the same time if you say, okay, I want to serve to help you in your service, he will like more, no? Is it? So you can bring a glass of water for me. Prabhu, here is the water. Okay, nice. But then you can say, okay, Prabhu, so you're writing books, so let me help in that. So what is a better proposal? Second one, no? Then you are serving my service to God. And that is real devotion. Serving the servants is one platform, but higher than that is service of service. That's what we have to do. Generally, new devotees, they serve the servants. Okay, fine, give them something, do them something, do them. But higher devotees, they ask, come on, okay, fine, what you are doing for Krishna, let me understand. Let me help in your service, assist in your service. That's the best thing you can do. Then Krishna becomes very happy. That is the ultimate understanding of devotion. That is there in Sitaduri Sadrisham. That means this. Okay, next is like dust. Okay, next. Then after that, what is there? Vichintaya. Now this is the last word. What's the meaning of Vichintaya? Yeah, Prabhupada translates. So Prabhupada translates, kindly consider this in Chaitanya Nityananda Leela. Please kindly consider. Why Mahaprabhu is saying this? Kindly consider. He prays everything? No, he's prays. His final prayer is, engage means service of service. Give me the intelligence to understand the service of service. So, but then he says, kindly consider. Why he says kindly consider? Because Krishna can still reject your petition. He's independent to do this. You glorified him, you told your messed up position, you prayed to him, I want this. Krishna can say, well, your logics are good, but still nothing doing. I'm not giving you. I agree, that's perfect. Your interview is good. But get out. No, nothing. He can do anything. So that's why Mahaprabhu is saying, please kindly consider. The point here is, next. The point here is Mahaprabhu is bringing a point here of, she's pressing next. So the point of independent, next here. So independent and dependent. Krishna is independent. Can you press next now? It takes a lot of time, or do what?
Actually, best is.
Oh. Okay, can you please go back? I also messed it up. Okay, fine. I think I didn't type it. So, so the point of independent and dependent. Ultimately, you have to understand Krishna is independent. You might do your rounds perfectly, you might do your service perfectly, you do everything perfectly, still Krishna might not give you any mercy. And then you can't complain. You can't complain. In fact, if still he doesn't give you mercy, sometimes it happens, we are doing devotion nicely, but still we don't feel mercy of Lord. If still we don't get mercy, what should we conclude? No, that is understood. Is it? That was the first premise. That was a premise. We are not pure. No?
I still have some sins which I have to clean up.
Come on. I still have some sins. I'm always sinful. No, not still. I'm eternally sinful. That's how devotee thinks in his mind.
Maybe that's a misconception, I'm not getting mercy.
What's this? No, if still you don't get mercy, it happens with all of us. No? We are doing, at least from our perspective, we do the best, we try our best, but still we don't get mercy sometimes. It becomes problematic. So then what do you conclude?
Prabhuji, I have a question that
but
what does mean mercy? But because all the time something is going on. All the time something is happening in the life. Maybe it is already mercy. What is the definition of the mercy?
Okay, so I'll come to that point. But my question is, if still you don't get mercy out of doing everything, it happens with all of us, is it? Many times we don't feel bliss. We become messed up, frustrated. We feel we are doing everything correct, but still no mercy. Then what do you conclude? Then you should conclude, if still you don't get mercy after doing everything correct from your perspective, to the best of your capacity, then you should conclude that that is mercy of God. Krishna not giving his mercy is mercy of God. And Prabhupada writes in one of his purport. Tomorrow I'll show you. It's a beautiful purport in Bhagavatam. Prabhupada writes, when Krishna doesn't give you mercy, when you do everything properly, perfectly, to your best of your capacity, still Krishna doesn't give his mercy, you should conclude that he's giving you the highest mercy. Because when he doesn't give you mercy, he is increasing your hunger to get mercy. The desire to get mercy. And when you get a lot of desire to get mercy, and then you get mercy, then you will appreciate it. Then you will really appreciate that mercy. So that is mercy of Lord. That's real mercy of Lord. So Krishna is always merciful. Whether he gives mercy, whether he doesn't give mercy, he's always sweet. He's always sweet. That's what we have to remember. And that's why Mahaprabhu is saying, please kindly consider my situation. You are independent. And whether you reject me, whether you accept me, still you are my Lord, no? Still you are my Lord means still I will consider you as merciful. So in all situations, devotee sees his mercy. There is no situation in which devotee cannot see his mercy. That's a devotee. For us it doesn't happen. We see, oh, this is mercy, this is not mercy, and that's a problem there. That's a misconception. We are an illusion.
Prabhuji, there is a Gita champion course later, and many devotees are online. They will be joining. Kids will be actually performing. Is there a, and again, kindly consider if you can make a short, why do we read Bhagavad-Gita? How to read Bhagavad-Gita, in a concise 20-30 minutes.
Should we do this?
Yeah,
no, tomorrow we have some.
Tomorrow we have another class.
In the evening?
In the evening.
In the morning we don't have?
We don't have in the morning.
Okay, so I'll do this.
Okay.
So you understand. So please press the next slide. And so how do you understand all these? This is a little complex now, but we have been discussing. It needs to meditate. You have to meditate all of these things now. This verse. So how do you get the power to meditate on all these things? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. This is how you get the power to understand this, to access this knowledge, along with reading Srila Prabhupada books. Can you press the next slide? And
Next slide.
what's happening to you? Oh, you can see this? I don't know.
Yeah, you can see it.
So you need some mercy to see this. So here, I don't know, I got this colors wrong. But this is my site. People are saying puredevotee.com. Puredevotee.com, that's an English site. So I'll be putting all these, any more lectures on this site. That is English site. Hindi site is bhaktinews.com. So that's Hindi, Bhakti News. I somehow got these names, nice names. Bhakti News is for Hindi, Pure Devotee is for English. So, okay, thank you very much for listening, Shikshashtakam. And we have been asking questions now, so question answer session is over. But your question is there. What is mercy? So I'll just 2 minutes I'll say. And Prabhu, so can you please start that slide of Gita essence that is there? So now we are going to discuss it's very small, what is Gita all about? Summary overview of Gita. This is part 2. There's an interval in movie, no? So there's an interval. And so your question is, what is mercy? Well, what is mercy? Yeah, how do you define mercy, no? So mercy is when Krishna wants to serve you, that is mercy.
Wow.
That is mercy. When you serve Krishna, then Krishna decides, he is serving me, let me serve my devotee. And his service to us, we perceive it as mercy. You understand the point? That's what is mercy. And he's serving us 24 hours now, is it? In our heart, we are talking, we are walking, that's his service to us, life after life after life, even if we are not doing anything to him. So that is mercy. Okay, so here is part 2. And I'm just going to give quick overview of what is Bhagavad-Gita. We discussed in San Bruno, but I'm going to give a different take here, little, and then you can understand. So we are doing a crash course on Bhagavad-Gita, just giving an overview. This is chapter 1. So what is Bhagavad-Gita all about? Now, what is chapter 1? There are 18 chapters, we all know, devotees are listening. Chapter 1 teaches us 2 teachings. The first teaching is, our own observations are imperfect and bring miseries. The name of chapter is observing the armies. If we observe this word by our own understanding, we'll get miseries. Just like Arjuna. He's observing from his own insight. He is frustrated. Duryodhana is observing from his own insight, same setup. He's also messed up, I'll win or not. Krishna is observing the same army, but Krishna's conclusion is different. Krishna says, fight. Arjuna, if you follow my observation leads to conclusion and plans. If you follow my conclusion, my plans, you'll be happy. Krishna's observations are perfect and brings happiness. So the first chapter is Krishna's mission is to make Arjuna, understand my plan, my conclusions, my observations. See this word as I am seeing. Don't see this word as you are seeing. You will land in problems. You will be lost if you don't listen to my words. Krishna says this. So that's the whole plan of Bhagavad Gita. After reading Bhagavad Gita, what should happen is, you should understand, you should leave your ideas to observe this word. You should learn, you should be convinced, I should see this word as Krishna sees this word. So just like, for example, when Prabhupada says, because Krishna doesn't like this word, we also don't like this word. That's why we don't like. Jnanis don't like this word out of fear. That's Jnanis. We don't like this word because there's so many problems. But we don't like this word because Krishna doesn't like. There's a different kind of understanding there. Why does Krishna doesn't like this word? Because this word is, we all know, Asat, Achit, Niranand. It is temporary, dead. It is dead. Spiritual world, everything is live, no? Even water is living. And it is full of bliss. There's no bliss. It is just dead. Everything is dead. People are also dead. No, there's no devotion. They're walking zombies. Krishna doesn't like this. Krishna doesn't like. So that is why we don't like. It is not just because there are problems in this word we don't like. Don't come to this. This is a half knowledge. Half knowledge. There are problems, that's okay. If Krishna suddenly starts liking this word, then what should we do? We should also like. That's the point. But Jnanis will not. And say, come on, Krishna likes, but why should I like? There are problems. That's the difference there. So, what our master desires, he already likes, that's his liking of the servant. So, that's the meaning of seeing through the eyes of God. So, to see through the eyes of God, you have to understand God. You have to understand His mind. What He likes, what He doesn't like, what He desires, what He doesn't desire. To understand His mind, To understand his liking, you have to read Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita is his mind. And if you want to see through as he sees, if you have to understand his mind, you have to develop love for him, no? Because you can't understand anybody's mind without love, is it? A husband understands the mind of wife. Wife understands the mind of husband because they love each other. So the aim of Bhagavad-Gita is love of God. Why? So that you understand mind of God. Why? So that you understand his likings and dislikings. Why? So that you start seeing this word through his eyes. You observe this word as he observes. Why you want to do that? Why you want to observe this word as he observes? Why do you want to do that? Love is like already there. We don't go in cycles now. Why you want to observe this word as Krishna observes? What's the point? Somebody can say why?
To bring happiness, peace.
To whom?
To
To
the
us?
world? Yeah.
No.
To Krishna.
And that's.
The servant should have the same vision as his master.
Why? Yeah, why? Yeah, good.
So we will only be able to serve.
Yeah, good. That's a point. We want to observe this material world. We want to observe everything by eyes of Krishna because we want to serve him. You can't serve anybody if you don't understand how you observe the situation, no? You can't observe him perfectly. You have to, if you want to serve your boss, you should know how he's observing the company, how he sees the company. Then you can help him. If you're seeing from your perspective, he's seeing from his own perspective, you can't serve him, no? Is it? That's why you have meetings, in companies, and boss comes, CEO comes, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And that's what is happening. So for service, we want to observe this word as Krishna observes. We want to become good servants of God. That is what is Gita all about. So, okay, fine. But the point is, to get this point across, you need some kind of knowledge. To observe as Krishna observes, for service, and we have to love him, we have to understand Krishna. We have to develop a systematic. Krishna is giving Arjuna systematic knowledge to understand all these things. In one day you can't understand. So Krishna starts his chapter by chapter to come to the conclusion of service, love and observation. Okay. So next slide. So okay, Krishna starts. So chapter 2 is, what is chapter 2? We are soul, you are not this body.
Can we get some evidence from the book so that we are promoted for reading more Bhagavad Gita?
This
Yeah.
chapter?
Like what you said, the two observations.
Yeah, Krishna, okay, fine, I'll give you that, yeah. Krishna says in first chapter, 32nd verse. Okay, here is a point. Krishna says in 32nd verse of first chapter, I'll read to you. Now here, how does... Okay, fine, answer me the question. Why does Krishna want to fight this battle? Huh? Why? No, main reason. What's the main reason? No. How Krishna is observing this word, this battle? That's the question, no? Yeah, we have to understand how he's observing, yeah.
To make Arjuna love him more.
Okay, yeah, can you explain? Yeah, more, yeah.
So basically the objective of Bhagavad Gita is not war, but it is actually love.
Okay, fine. I can expect your point. Yeah. How Krishna is observing this battle? Okay, that's my question. How he's observing this battle? How he observes? You see, Arjuna is observing this battle, I don't want to fight. Duryodhana is observing this battle, I want to fight, win. How Krishna is observing? Why he wants to fight this battle to happen? Now Prabhupada says in this line, Prabhupada says 34th and 35th verse, last line of the Prabhupada. Prabhupada says that the Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore the Lord was determined to kill miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. That was how he was observing this battle. He wanted to take revenge. That's what is love all about. That's why your question is also correct. Your answer is also correct. He wants to establish love. He doesn't want to establish morality. That's not the point. This is love. He wants to say, Pandavas loved him, and he wants to show his love to his devotees, to the entire world. I love my devotees. I take revenge. I'm God, but I take revenge. This is funny. So, then it makes sense, no? Love. Then people can understand, yes, this is love.
But those who are being killed,
They go to spiritual world.
They are going to spiritual world.
So that's okay.
So it's like a war between Indra and Vritrasura, and in that war we glorify Vritrasura, not Indra. Although Indra killed Vritrasura, but in this war, why do we glorify Pandavas? We should glorify Kauravas because they are going to the spiritual world.
Well, Krishna wants to take revenge. Krishna kills them, and after killing them, he thinks, my God, I have to give them mercy also. So he takes them to spiritual world. And that's how he does. You see.
But the object of glorification could be, the Kauravas, those who are dying.
No, Pandavas also got into. That's another picture altogether. That's a hidden picture of the game. We're talking of the revealed picture of the game. That's the point. I mean to say, then we can also say Krishna never left Vrindavan. So then it makes things complex. So that way. Or Krishna was not born to Devaki. What do you say of that? So anyway, we are talking about the picture which is shown to us and the conclusions there. So there is Krishna wants to take it. So this line is so important, see. So you read Prabhupada books nicely. That is how Krishna observes his battle. He is observing them as offenders to his devotees. And he wants to take revenge. And Arjuna was saying, I will not fight. So what Arjuna was doing, Arjuna was harming love. He was harming love, not just Krishna. Because love demands service and revenge. That's love, no? Everything is fair in love and war, like that. So if Arjuna doesn't fight, then he shows to this world, if this fight doesn't happen, he shows to this world that, first of all, he doesn't love Krishna. Krishna is asking him to fight, he is not fighting. Second of all, he is showing that Lord doesn't love his devotees. So Krishna tells Arjuna, you assist me in this fight, you do this fight, because I want to show this world I love you all. Because you love me. That's why I want to kill them. It is not just to establish religious principles, but if you want to say he wants to establish religious principles, he wants to establish the highest religious principle of love. That's the understanding you have to take. It's not religion, mundane morality. So this is a very important line you have to read. So that's what Prabhupada books. It's all from Prabhupada books. I'm just speaking from Prabhupada books. But if you read properly, then you will understand. Observation point, it is from Prabhupada books. Okay, second chapter, we all know second chapter. I don't want to go. No. I didn't say next slide. So, we are soul and not body, no? That's how Krishna begins his topic. So why is giving this knowledge to Arjuna? Relieve him from material desires and miseries. He has his own kachada in his mind, no? Own observation, I don't want to fight this, blah, blah. He gives so many reasons. So Krishna says, you fool. Now, I want you to understand love, and you're talking such basic things. It's complete nonsense. Lamenting. I'm talking such high things. I've come here to establish love. You're talking of mundane morality. He was talking about morality, no? I'll not fight because people will become widows. Who has killed his guru? And Prabhupada writes in his purport that as if Arjuna is asking Krishna, you guru sometimes or what? Prabhupada writes. So why are you asking me to kill my guru? So then he missed the whole point. So that's what is Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna is telling, come on my dear Arjuna, you're talking about mundane morality. You're supposed to be moral. You are called Arya. You're talking about this nonsense. In comparison to love, there's no question of morality. In comparison to Krishna Leela, Ram Leela is nowhere. Ram Leela is, at least externally, morality. Krishna Leela is love. So, okay, so that's second chapter. So second chapter, Krishna is giving knowledge of soul to Arjuna to get him relieved of his miseries, first of all. If you leave your confusions, then I'll be able to explain your concept of love. So at least, understand your soul, you're not this body, and be peaceful. You're unhappy because everybody will die. Nobody will die, first of all. So Prabhupada says in the first verse, Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna can dissipate, Lord Krishna can dissipate the lamentation of ignorant man. And for this purpose, Bhagavad-Gita was sung. And this chapter instructs us in this concept of self-realization. So the second chapter is contents of Gita summarized. Krishna summarized everything to Arjuna. Arjuna, see here, I'm going to explain this, soul and body. Please don't lament. I have a big agenda, big message for you. So give your lamentation down, then I'll be able to explain. Because you can't anybody who is lamenting, no? Is it? A lamenting person you can't explain. He is weeping, hi, kya ho gaya? You can't give him message. Is it? So that's what I was telling. 4 people you should never advise. First, you should never advise husband and wife. Even though they are fighting a tough of the voice, don't go and advise. You'll end up in problem.
Your wife or any wife?
Husband, wife, not your wife. But your wife also you should not advise. It is said in scriptures, don't advise women. Until unless they are, you'll end up in problem. Yeah, that's also said. So don't criticize women, don't glorify women. Because they are a little emotional, no? They are more emotional beings than males. So it touches their hearts. So don't do that. You have to be careful to do that in a proper context. So, okay, so you should not advise husband, wife if they're fighting. You should not advise 2 brahmanas if they're fighting, 2 scholars. Otherwise, they are fighting. If you advise them, they'll be on you. That's all. And then, until you're hired, you should not speak anything, If nobody's asking, don't tell. No problem. But there's an excuse. To say, many devotees say, well, I'm telling him to help him. Otherwise, he'll fall down. It is none of your business to help him. It is none of your business to help him. If you advise him, he will rather reject your advice and do the same thing which is you're advising, because he's not ready to take your advice. He will say, come on, he's telling me this, you're nonsense, I'll do the same thing. It can go in other way. No, don't advise. That's okay. Let people do. Let time teach. He is the best teacher. He will teach. You can't teach as he teaches. Leave him. Leave him. Some people learn by time. And what time teaches, that's a perfect thing. It happens like that. Just leave. That's okay. We leave children also, no? Chalo shaitani ka nada, thoda samajh jayega apne aap, theek hai. Sometimes. So like that. So that is, and the fourth is, don't advise people who lament, who are depressed. Don't advise them. So that's why Krishna is giving knowledge of soul and body, to reduce lamentation of Arjuna, so that he is ready for advice. Explanation of love. Chapter. Now I'm going to go very quickly and I'm going to finish it. Yes, so Mataji, please focus and next slide, Oh, I have to speak next slide, sorry for that. No, no, not next slide. Okay. So, chapter 3 is, now Krishna starts his message. And now he says, if you want to develop love, if you want to understand my mind, if you want to see as I am seeing, start serving me now. So everything starts with service. Action should be done conducive to realization of knowledge of soul. He gave knowledge of soul. Now you have to realize the knowledge of soul, no? He just theoretical knowledge. His lamentation came down. Krishna wants him to realize. So he says action should be done. These actions for God are called service or karma yoga. Third chapter is karma yoga. One perspective of karma yoga is, karma means actions, yoga means God, doing actions for God, service. That's one perspective. So, that Prabhupada takes that perspective in Bhagavad-Gita. He always translates karma yoga as bhakti yoga. That's Prabhupada's unique translation of Bhagavad-Gita. Prabhupada doesn't take karma yoga in the usual sense of karma yoga as doing some service for fruitive desires. He doesn't, as doing yagyas and nishkam karma sakam. He doesn't take that. It is there, but he doesn't take. He takes it as bhakti yoga. So that is third. Krishna says, start with service, okay. First step to love is service. So that means, okay, fine. So what is the fourth chapter? So next slide. Fourth chapter is, when you serve him, now you have to intensify your service, no? Everything is service, no? So to intensify your service attitude, Krishna gives knowledge of soul. 4th chapter name is Gyan Yoga, transcendental knowledge. He gives knowledge of soul and himself, both. The soul and the soul of souls, super soul. So, you see what's happening. Krishna is intensifying. Krishna is focusing on service. Everything will get by service, no? So, but the point is, after then he gives knowledge, not before service. And there's a point here. First Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga. Not first Jnana Yoga and then Karma Yoga. Action precedes knowledge. If you get knowledge first, then you get confused. So you have to serve Krishna. By service, your heart becomes pure. You get mercy. In that pure heart, you can understand transcendental knowledge. It is not academic knowledge, no? Chemistry, physics, maths. That is by first Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga. There's a logic there. Okay, so your service attitude intensifies. You get more knowledge about Krishna. What's 5th chapter? So next slide, yeah. So the 5th chapter is action in Krishna consciousness. Simple living, high thinking. In other words, perform service with knowledge. Now we are serving him, we are getting knowledge about him. Krishna says combine both. Don't serve me without knowledge. Service without knowledge is mechanical. And your service will not be so intense. And don't just have knowledge without service. That will be that's nonsense speculation. You get confused. Contradictions. So combine both service and knowledge. You should know what to do. You should know why to do what to do. You should know the why behind what. So something like this, yeah. Something like this, yeah. You combine all these three. So combine all those three. Okay, 5th. So next slide. And what is the 6th chapter? Name Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga means pay attention, Arjun. You are serving me with knowledge, with understanding, but well, there is misconceptions, there are doubts. Pay attention to my service. It's very easy for your mind to wander away from my service. So that is Dhyana Yoga. Attentiveness to service. So there is a verse there. Prabhupada says that Krishna says, Abhihas tu 𝗙𝗂𝗋. Prabhupada says in the purport that Abhihas means to repeatedly, Abhihas means focusing your mind on service, and Vairagya means associating with spiritual people. You don't detach from ordinary people unless you associate with, no? Sat sangatvam nihi sangatvam. That's what is said. By taking association of devotees, leave bad association. That's Vairagya. That is why 2 things you should do. If you want to put attention to my service, the first thing you should do, practice. Practice that again and again. And associate with people. So Prabhupada says. So the point of 6th chapter is, Krishna says, leave the process of Dhyana Yoga, accept the principle. That's why Krishna says, Arjuna says, Krishna, I can't follow this process. Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. There's no problem. Leave the process. Dhyanis, they like to put attention. Okay, learn from them. What is attention? Apply the same principle in devotional life. Now you can understand 6th chapter. Otherwise, Prabhupada always brings Krishna Consciousness 6th chapter. And we think, what Prabhupada is like, what? He's like giving misinterpretation or what?
One of your lectures you said that if you really want to understand the gist of it, just take the last.
Last verse.
And exactly if you see this one, the last is Yoginama.
Yeah, last verse. Yoginama pi sarvesham madkaterantaratmana. Yeah, that's the conclusion. Okay, 6th chapter is like that. Now, so next slide. So what's the name of 7th chapter? Your knowledge of absolute truth. So now Krishna says, serve me. If you serve him, then you want to increase your service attitude, no? That's servant. You want to intensify. So Krishna says, I will tell about myself. You're serving me, I will tell about myself to intensify your service attitude. So intensify service attitude by giving his own knowledge. And when you have knowledge of Krishna, when your service attitude increases, when your service attitude really increases, then what happens? Then is next slide, 8th chapter, attaining the supreme. you develop a desire to attain God. Is it? When you serve, your service attitude intensifies. Then you feel separation from person you are serving, and then you have a desire to attain Him. So that's, next slide. I just told next slide. So that is 8th chapter, Attaining the Supreme. By serving Him in full knowledge, earn God's grace and develop a desire to attain Him. And when your desire to attain Him intensifies by more service, when you attain Krishna becomes 100%. The next slide. Then is 9th chapter. Desire to attain Him leads to desire to serve Him with love. This is most confidential knowledge. 100% desire to attain Him is called love. That's love, no? That's love all about. I love that person. What's the meaning of that? I want to attain Him. And if 100% you want to attain Krishna, that's love. So there is a verse in Bhagavad-Gita for that. That the aim of all our sadhana is to desire to attain Him. You know what is that verse? No? There's one verse. So that's in 12th chapter. And Krishna says 12th chapter, 9th verse. What's that verse? 12th, 9th. Krishna says, 𝗙𝗲𝗹𝗶𝗃 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗎. What's that? Can you just have a look? 12:9, Krishna says. Probably I can open faster than you. Okay, 12:9, here I am. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi 𝗦𝗎ci𝗰𝗶𝗹 abhyasena tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon meditation, then follow regulated principles of bhakti. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Our whole process is to develop a desire to attain Krishna. If you're not getting that desire, we are not advancing. So that is 9th chapter, love. So Krishna comes to the point of love. And mission, no? To explain Arjuna, love. If you love Him, you understand Him. If you understand Him, you understand His observation. And you can see through the eyes of God. And then you can serve Him more perfectly. Even much more perfectly than you're serving now. Absolutely perfectly. So that is 9th chapter. Okay. So next slide. But now, after you love Krishna, you want to know Him more. That's the point. You don't stop knowing Him more. So when you love Krishna, then comes the concept of revelation. Before love, He is telling you through scriptures. And after love, He reveals His secrets to His supreme power to you. You can read 10th chapter, but you cannot understand that. It's not possible. Most of us are not at even 10th chapter of Bhagavad. Most of us are not even at maybe 4th chapter, 5th chapter. We are stuck somewhere behind. Maybe 1st chapter. Yeah, Prabhupada said, if we are having anxieties of this material world, our spiritual life has not begun. If we get disturbed by disturbance of this material world, that's no platform. You're not even understood the basic thing. So we have to rise above that. So 10th, 11th chapter, 10th chapter He speaks His power. 11th chapter He shows His power, universal form, is it? And 12th chapter He shows His sweetness. What is 12th chapter? Devotional service. Krishna says, I am not just powerful, I am sweet. Love me. For love you need sweetness, you just don't need power. Because Arjuna got fear, no? Because of power. That's why He says He reveals His sweetness to His devotees. At least theoretically, so that we can understand, start loving Him. And then 13th chapter, He says, 13 and 14th chapter, He says, well, on this path of service, there are obstacles. And so what's the name of 13th chapter? Nature enjoyer, consciousness. First obstacle is your enjoying propensity within you. That's what we are on our own enemies. We want to enjoy without Krishna. That's the first obstacle inside us. Outside 14th chapter, modes of material nature. Outside there is another obstacle, modes of material nature. Ignorance, passion, people, circumstances. They want to go against us. The whole world is like that. So those two obstacles. How do you get beyond these obstacles? 15th chapter. So next slide. 15th chapter is Yoga of Supreme. Accept guidance of devotees to real obstacles. That's what Krishna says. Asanga shastrena ridena shitva. Prabhupada explains Asanga in his purport. Asanga means The weapon of detachment. Prabhupada explains real detachment comes with association of devotees. So the weapon of association of devotees. With spiritual people, wise people, you can get above all these obstacles. That's 15th chapter. So how do you know you are advancing the path of service or not? How do you know you are advancing towards the love or not? That is, next slide, 16th chapter and 17th chapter. Advancement in service depends on manifestation of good qualities. What is 16th chapter? Divine and demoniac. So when you are advancing on spirituality, the first symptom should be you should have good qualities. What's that verse? Ahimsa sattva samshuddhir. All this 𝗙𝗪𝗃𝗪𝗃, all these called good qualities you should have. You should be developing. And the second thing is 17th chapter. What is the name of 17th chapter? Divisions of faith. So your faith should increase. Faith increase means faith should go beyond modes of material nature. Your faith should be transcendental. In spite of all obstacles, you should not be wavered in your faith. Then you know you are advancing. And next slide, what is 18th chapter? 18th chapter is conclusion, the summary. And the name of 18th chapter is perfection, renunciation. Now you understand. Now Krishna says, Arjun, I have given my message of love. I have told how to love me, what are obstacles, how to cross them, what are the signs when you are advancing in loving me. So, when you love me, then you attain perfection of renunciation. Why Krishna says, what is perfection of renunciation? Renounce stupid ideas. Renounce your observation. See as I am seeing. That is perfection of renunciation. Perfection of renunciation is not to leave objects. Perfection of renunciation is to leave our observation, our angle of vision, our perception, see through the eyes of God. And that is perfection of relation. That is the meaning of human life. That is the understanding and the answers to who are you and who is God. That's what 18th chapter gives. This is an very fast summary of Bhagavad-Gita. This is, I think, fastest summary of Bhagavad-Gita in history of ISKCON. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for hearing everything. And I just want to announce something. And you want to say, Deepak? These are my sites. Again, Pure Devotee is in English. All English lectures. This lecture will also be there on that. And Hindi is Bhakti News. Bhakti News. I just got it. And I've just got 2 CDs if you want, because I speak all these lectures. One lecture you can't understand many things. So if you want these CDs, you can have it from me now after whatever I'll be here. This is English CD. There are many seminars in this, not just random lectures. Just like Bhagavad-Gita overview, Shikshashtakam. I didn't discuss full Shikshashtakam, there's full Shikshashtakam here. Then there's concept of faith, so many things. It's a systematic knowledge I have tried to put from Prabhupada books. So you can hear this. This is a DVD. There are many lectures. 200, 400 something lectures. And this is in Hindi. This full Bhagavad-Gita. Full Bhagavad-Gita, every verse in Hindi. So if you hear, you can understand Bhagavad-Gita nicely. What's the point of view? So if anybody wants these DVDs, you can have it. We'll be here. And thank you very much for hearing, and thank you for all of you for coming and giving me a watching. It's 10 o'clock.
So